Shaquille O'Neal may have good intentions, y'all, but so many women have experienced an older man say that they look at them as a niece or they see them as a daughter, and out the same mouth will say, but your ass is fine, though. And Shaquille O'Neal is offended that people would even suggest that he looks at Angel Reese any way other than a daughter.
How many times have I told you I love you?
A lot.
Okay, so if a person knows me, it's like Shaq is Angel's mentor. He would never even cross that line with her.
Yeah.
Other than that, first person to say that, get out. Like, are you what? Like, you pretend you love her. One, I do love her. I love her as a daughter.
Shaquille, with all due respect, if you really look at her like a daughter, what daddy says this to their daughter? Roll the clip.
Bro, imagine you.
I'm not imagining.
Let me finish. Imagine you in the same little shirt you had on at the Wild 'N Out show, Duncan. You know how many t-shirts you gonna sell, cuz? You tripping.
Oh my
What?
God.
What?
Oh God.
The same little shirt you had on.
Okay, all right.
Duncan,
Bro.
The fact of the matter is, as a woman, so many of us hear the discomfort in Angel when she's saying, you know, all right, basically, because it's creepy. She sees you as someone like a father, like an uncle. And it's creepy for her to hear you characterize her like that. You know, those little short-ass shorts, you know. No one wants to hear their daddy or uncle talking to them that way. And that's why it's questionable whether or not you see her that way, because you made her feel uncomfortable, clearly, because you were crossing a boundary as a quote-unquote uncle or mentor. Have a good day.
All right, guys, so we got to revisit a topic that I talked about probably about a week ago involving WNBA star Angel Reese, okay, who famously complained about being sexualized by everybody after losing in the college basketball playoffs.
I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me. I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood.
Fast forward about a year later, this woman has done a lot of things that, in my opinion, would classify as sexualizing herself, okay? I mean, this woman has been going on shows like Wild 'N Out with booty shorts on. I mean, she's done photo shoots as a model, basically wearing no clothes. She typically is seen not wearing very many clothes outside. And again, you know, that's her prerogative. If that's something that she wants to do, fine, okay? However, you cannot do that while also at the same time complaining about being sexualized. Because when you run around carrying yourself in that way, okay, you're going to get treated the way that women who carry themselves that way get treated out in the real world. And that is what happened to her doing this podcast with Shaq, who is supposed to be a mentor, right? She's supposed to have some relationship with Shaq, okay? And she was doing this podcast, and Shaq ended up bringing up Angel Reese running around in these very short booty shorts on shows like Wild 'N Out. And Angel Reese got triggered during this interaction because Shaq basically talked about fantasizing her being in those booty shorts while playing basketball in the WNBA. And let's just say that the feminists did not like that, okay? Shaq is getting a whole lot of backlash for bringing this up, doing this conversation with Angel Reese, and I want to talk about it. So without further ado, roll the clip.
Your flowers too.
All of them. Especially all the WNBA. I'm proud of you ladies, and I hope your dream comes true. If you listen to my method, your dream will definitely come through. Lower that rim a half a millisecond of an inch, and you don't strike this from the tape, Christian.
We ain't striking it.
Don't. I'm telling you, you just lower like that to where it gives you ability to dunk. Bro, imagine you.
I'm not imagining.
Let me finish. Imagine you in the same little shirt you had on at the Wild 'N Out show, Duncan. You know how many t-shirts you gonna sell, cuz? You tripping.
Oh my
What?
God.
What?
Oh God.
The same little shirt you had on.
Okay. All right.
Duncan.
All right.
Bro,
All right.
I wouldn't buy that shirt, but I know my boy Christian and Alex will buy that shirt. Cause listen, you're not beautiful or good looking. You are gorgeous. There's a lot of gorgeous women in NBA. Like I love seeing that when y'all become.
Angel Reese feels like how most women feel when they think that they have a, platonic relationship with a male figure or even like a father figure, and then realize that all along the person has ill intentions. For Shaq to come out his mouth at the age of 52, I think, or 54, something like that, and say that Angel Reese would have to, wear the little shorts that she wore when she was on Wildin' Out, which while you're looking at her ass anyway, nasty ass, but for him to say that she has to wear those shorts and you know how much attention she would get if she wear those shorts, you're nasty and you're a predator. This gives the same energy that men like him would literally talk to their fucking He is nasty. He is a definition of money cannot buy happiness, because you would think with all the money that Shaq got, he will be able to find somebody that actually loves him.
No, so watching that Shaq video, y'all, and what he said to Angel Reese is just utterly disgusting, because you have not one, not two, but three damn daughters. And one of your daughters is playing in the same field that Angel Reese is. And this woman looks at you as a mentor to her. And the first thing that your mouth, you say some predatory shit. And the light bulb just went the fuck off, because y'all, we have always known that there are men who are husbands, that are fathers, that are, are supposed to be heads of households and everything like that. And they say the most predatory, sick shit. And it's just like, think about how many Shaqs we know in our everyday lives, y'all. Come on now. Everyday Shaqs we know in our life, that's a Shaq type of dude. But when it comes to somebody that is close to him, he wants to start a riot if something was to happen. Because for him to sit up here and say that about somebody else's daughter, ain't no telling. Let his daughter ever experience any form of, predatory behavior from other grown men, I would not be surprised if he would turn a blind eye to it. Simple as that. And then it's the fact that people defending him. Y'all defended this man because of, his career in basketball and everything. But that don't change the fact that the shit that he said was predatory as fuck.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. The feminists are upset. They're calling Shaq a predator for what he said, okay? He was coming up with a marketing plan for the WNBA. He was like, listen, you guys lower the rim so that you can dunk, and then if you put on some booty shorts, right, like the ones that you wore at Wildin' Out, right, a lot more people would watch the WNBA, right? You would get a lot more viewership. And you have these women calling Shaq a predator, okay? Clearly, Angel Reese was uncomfortable with this interaction. And there's a whole lot of people that are upset with what Shaq said. And me personally, I don't co-sign what Shaq said. It's not something that I would have said personally. But I don't really see the problem with what he said, in the sense that I don't think that what he said was creepy. I don't think that what he said was predator-like behavior or anything like that. I think Shaq was basically saying out loud what a lot of men probably think, right? And again, I just don't think that makes you a predator, right? I don't want to get into the territory of trying to call men predators for essentially thinking the same things that most men probably think, but he just had the cojones to say it out loud. Now, here's the problem. And this is what I talked about in my last video on this subject, and this is why I like talking about this subject, because this is about culture. And I think that there's a serious culture issue when you talk about young women and not realizing, understanding the real world that we live in the sense that when you carry yourself in a certain type of way, when you run around with no clothes on, when you run around essentially treating yourself as if you are a sexual object, carrying yourself as a sexual object, as a sex symbol, that is the way that you're going to get treated, right? That is how people are going to treat you out in public. That's the honest to God truth, okay? And that's how people are going to think about you, right? And this is the same message that I had in my video just a week ago when I first reacted to Angel Reese doing this, despite claiming that, oh, well, I don't like to be sexualized. I've been sexualized and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So if you don't like being sexualized, then you shouldn't carry yourself in a way that invites sexual attention. Okay. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. If you carried yourself like a respectable professional athlete, like, for example, Caitlin Clark, right? If you carried yourself like that, you don't have to worry about it, right? Those comments don't happen, okay? People are not going to say anything about the outfit that you wore on Wild 'N Out if you didn't wear that outfit in the first place, okay? If you put some clothes on, okay, if you carried yourself as a respectable woman, then those comments wouldn't happen. You would get treated like a respectable woman, a professional athlete. Also, on top of that, there's a lot of women that are talking about Shaq and how he's supposed to be a mentor, right? They got a problem with his age, right? Oh, well, Shaq is 50 plus years old and she's 20 something. I'm like, age has nothing to do with it. He's a grown man. She's a grown woman, right? Age is totally irrelevant here, okay? But, okay, let's talk about the whole mentor-mentee relationship. if Angel Reese wants Shaq to be her mentor, what she really needs to be focused on is having Shaq mentor her in ways that are actually relevant. I don't think it's relevant on a podcast. What they really should be doing, if she wants a real mentor type of relationship with Shaq, is to go on the basketball court and ask Shaq, hey, how did you dominate in the paint, right? Hey, how did you do this? How did you do that? Show me how you dominated on the court, right? So that her game can get better, because Lord knows her game needs some work, right? She needs a whole lot of work, okay? So again, if she wants that type of relationship, that's what she should be doing. I don't think that doing a podcast where you're just sitting around talking about whatever, okay, and these types of conversations come up, I'm not sure if that's the nature of the relationship that I would want with Shaq if I was her, okay? I would be in the gym, okay? I would be working on my game, okay? If I could get access to Shaq as a basketball player, that's what I would be doing. And that way you maintain that professionalism. You don't cross that line where stuff like this happens when you maintain that professional relationship. But see, this is what these women don't understand. These women want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to run around here with no clothes on, even in professional settings. Again, this doesn't just apply to Angel Reese and the WNBA and all that. No. When you work in the corporate world, right, women run around with tight clothes on, short skirts, chest out, all this stuff. And then they act shocked and surprised when they get comments or when they're seen as sexual objects or when they're not taken seriously as professionals, okay? Because you're not carrying yourself as a professional who deserves to be treated with respect. When you disrespect yourself, of course, other people are going to show you that disrespect. You have to respect yourself first. And when a woman runs around here with no clothes on, okay, showing everything that she got, she's showing that she does not respect herself as a woman. She does not respect herself enough to cover up. And again, I'm not saying that the woman has to run around like a nun, okay, or anything like that. But again, there's a difference. There's a difference between wearing tight booty shorts and just putting on a regular pair of pants and going out, okay? There's a difference. There's a huge difference. There's a difference between putting on a nice shirt where your cleavage is covered up versus wearing a shirt where it's all hanging out. There's a difference. There's a huge difference. And to pretend as if you don't know the difference is ignorant. And this is why I don't feel bad when these women come out here and act all shocked and surprised when comments like this are made. No, I'm not going to feel bad, because ultimately this is the world that we live in. This is how men are, okay? This is why every holy book, the Bible, the Quran, this is why they tell women, hey, dress modestly, cover up. Why? Because the nature of men is when you see a woman that is showing herself like that, yes, men are going to get aroused. Men are going to have certain thoughts. And hey, some men can't control those thoughts. And I'm not saying it's right for men to act on those thoughts in ways that clearly are inappropriate, okay, or to comment in ways that are inappropriate. I'm not saying that that is right. I am not condoning that. That is clearly, obviously wrong. But the point that is being made here is that if you want to avoid those type of interactions, the best thing for you to do, again, is to cover up. Put on some clothes, okay? Don't dress in ways that invites unwanted sexual attention. If you do not want that type of attention, don't dress that way. Don't dress that way. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. But for whatever reason, this concept is so hard for young women to understand. And I'm not telling you this as somebody that doesn't appreciate the female body. No, you don't understand. Listen. I don't have a problem if a woman wants to run around with no clothes on, showing me everything that she got. That ain't my problem. That's the problem of her man and her father, right? That's their issue. It's not my issue. If you want to show it to me for free, okay, I appreciate that. But I also understand the consequences of that. When there are real world societal consequences of that, because there are men out here that cannot control themselves when it comes to making comments. There are men out here that can't control themselves when it comes to their actions. And I understand that, hey, the best way for a woman to avoid that type of unwanted attention, if they don't want that attention, is, again, for them to exercise modesty when you're out in public. It's really that simple. But again, women want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to run around like this, okay, with their butts out and attract all this attention. They want all the praise and glory from this attention, right? This is what they want to do. But then as soon as they get some comment that they don't like about the attention that they invited for themselves, they want to boohoo, whine, and cry and pretend like they're some type of victim. And in Angel Reese's case, she's upset that, again, Shaq is not treating her as a mentee, okay, as a peer, as somebody to be respected, when again, she is not treating herself as somebody that has respect for herself and her own body. When you carry yourself like a professional athlete, like a professional basketball player that's serious about improving her game and getting better and being the best player possible, then others will treat you that way. But if you're carrying yourself like a hip hop model, like an Instagram model, then that's what people are going to treat you like. And that's what happened in this interaction with Shaq. It's really that simple. But my last point is this, and this is the most important point that I want to drive home, the same point that I drove home in my last video on this, because this is what Angel Reese doesn't understand. And if she had good people in her circle, they'd be telling her this. Clearly, Angel Reese claims that she doesn't like to be sexualized. So, in my opinion, I don't think she wants to make a career out of having to sexualize herself. She already knows they don't make a lot of money in the WNBA. She makes her money from sponsorships and brand endorsements. The type of brand that she's building right now, where she's out in the streets, sexualizing herself, carrying herself in a way that is not going to be attractive towards brands that are trying to sell products mainly to parents with daughters who watch the WNBA. That is the bread and butter, right? Of sports league, the bread and butter are the children selling paraphernalia, okay? That's the bread and the butter. Angel Reese is not building a brand in which parents are going to look at her and say, hey, I want my daughter to be like her. I want my daughter to look up to Angel Reese and to emulate her behavior. But they are doing that with Caitlin Clark. Again, that's why she's getting all the marketing dollars, right? That's why she's getting all the marketing dollars. But with Angel Reese, though, she's not building a brand that I think is attractive in the long term for these brands. And that is going to hurt her financially, especially if her game does not get better. If you're not focused on your game, while at the same time you out here in these streets and you're building up this brand that's overtly sexual, those sponsorship dollars are going to run out. And when those sponsorship dollars run out, what are you going to do? Because your game didn't get better and you don't have a brand that's marketable towards the target audience of the WNBA that actually makes the league money, what are you going to do? And that's what she really needs to be thinking about, right? Since she, hates being sexualized so much, if this is what she believes, then you might not want to create a brand and to build your brand off sexualizing yourself if that's not what you want to do in the long term, because that's not going to be aligned with the target audience of the WNBA and what respectable brands are going to want to put money behind. And this is what people in her inner circle should be telling her. If you really care about Angel Reese and you want to see her have long-term success, the advice you should be giving her is advice that's going to help her be successful long-term financially without having to sexualize herself and taking advantage of the growth of the WNBA and creating a brand that will allow her to make money, again, without having to sexualize herself. That should be the goal, okay? But she's currently not on track to do that, considering the actions that she's putting out there for the world to see in regards to what she's focused on. She's not on track to do that. But hey, that's just my advice, because I actually want to see her be successful, right? If I didn't want to see her be successful, I'd just say, hey, let her keep doing whatever she's doing, and I wouldn't give a damn about it. But what they'll say is that people like me, men like me, that say stuff like this, that tell her, hey, you should put some clothes on and carry yourself as a respectable athlete, right? If that's the way that you want to be treated. Hey, you just hate women. You hate black women. You don't like women living their best lives. And like, that's what they'll say. They'll say something crazy like that. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever, right? If wisdom is hate, then, it is what it is. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.